In part 3 of Working with Time Management, I'm going to introduce you to the golden 10 minutes. Hello and welcome to part 3 of my Working with Time Management. My name is Carl Pauline, and in this week's episode I'm going to introduce you to my concept that I call the golden 10 minutes. This is the 10 minutes at the end of every single day that's going to supercharge your time management and ensure that you are getting the important things done every single day. Now let's just do a quick review. In part 1, I explained about how you can use your calendar to really get a grip of where you are spending your time, because there are quite a lot of non-negotiable things that happen every week in your life. Now these could be meetings in your work, they could be lectures and seminars you have to attend at university. Whatever it is, there are some things that are just time that you have to be in a certain place at a certain time, and they are non-negotiable. So they go onto your calendar first, and then you fill in your social life, because remember, time management isn't about work. It's about fitting in the whole of your life, including your social life, the time you spend with your family and the people you love. This is just as important as the work that you have to do. So the calendar is the most powerful tool that you have to help you to get control of your time. The second part, which I showed you last week, was I introduced you to the concept of COD, which is not a fish. It actually means collect, organize, and do. Very simple philosophy, if you like, but it does work. If you make sure that you're collecting everything every day, and you are then organizing it, and then you are doing it when you have the time to do it. Well, in this week's episode, in this part, what I want to do is to introduce you to the golden 10 minutes. Now, the golden 10 minutes essentially is 5 things that you need to do at the end of every day that only takes, or should take, 10 minutes. Now, I am going to be completely honest with you here. When you first start doing this, it will take you longer than 10 minutes. It probably take you 20 to 30 minutes. But over time, you're going to get faster and faster and faster at this, until you point after a few weeks, maybe a few months, you'll be doing this in 10 minutes. So the first one is to process everything that you collected throughout the day. Now, most of the time you're going to be collecting these in your to-do list manager, and which to-do list manager you use is entirely up to you. It could be just the simple reminders app on your iPhone, or it could be Google Keep, or whatever it is. It could be just a simple note-taking application, but you do need to have a collection tool. As I mentioned last week, it could even be in just a notebook and pen. Whatever way you decide, you need to be able to carry that with you wherever you go. All those things that you collected, though, you need to make process. What are they? What do you have to do with them? Is there a deadline? A lot of questions, which we'll go into a further part when we get a little bit deeper into this, but you do need to process those notes. If it's an event, it goes on your calendar. If it's a to-do item, it needs to go on your to-do list, and if it's a note, it needs to go into your notes app. And essentially that's all you're doing. Obviously, if it's a to-do, it has to be dated maybe. If it's not that urgent, you don't necessarily have to date it, but if it's an event, it goes into your calendar. The second thing that you need to do, part 2, is to go open your calendar and look at tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like? Now, for example, if tomorrow is just back-to-back meetings or back-to-back lectures, then hey, you're not going to get a lot of your tasks done tomorrow. And this is why it's really important to have a close look at your calendar and be realistic about what you can do. Now, here's just a quick tip on this one. I usually tell people, my clients, when I'm working with them on a mentoring program, is to look at the calendar for tomorrow, but I always suggest that you do also have a brief glance at what's coming up throughout the rest of the week, because you may have a deadline approaching, and if that's the case, you need to be looking for time where you're going to be able to sit down and do whatever it is that needs doing to hit that deadline. But step 2 is to look at your calendar, have a look at the day, what it's going to look like tomorrow. Is it a busy day or is it a quiet day? And then you can go into step 3, which is look at your projects. Which are the most important projects? What needs moving forward because the deadline or the end date or whatever is approaching? So if you've got an essay to submit to your professor and at the end of the week, then you're going to need to be able to find the time to sit down for a couple of hours and work on that essay. Likewise, if you've got a presentation to do on Friday morning, then you're going to need to find time in your calendar where you can sit down for 2 hours or so to get on with preparing that presentation. That's why it's so important to look at your projects and see where the deadlines are coming up. Usually I find though that you're very aware anyway, particularly when you get into this golden 10 minutes and you regularly do it, you know what's coming up on a day-to-day basis. The fourth one is, what 2 things do you want to get done tomorrow because they are so important? Now these are what I call your 2 objectives, the objectives for the day. Now preferably these need to be related to your goals, the goals that you have set for yourself, but if it's exam week, for example, at university, perhaps focusing on your goals for a couple of weeks is probably not the best thing to do. Focusing on your exams is probably the best thing to do. Likewise, if you're working in an office or you're working within a company, maybe there is something that is really approaching and you really need to get your head round, then those can go into one of your 2 objective slots for the day. And that's very important. You need to have 2 objectives for the day, because seriously, when you get into this habit of setting yourself 2 objectives to get done that day, and they could be anything. It could be like do 30 minutes of exercise, or it could be spend 2 hours working on my online course, which is one I had for yesterday, for example. Whatever they are, they need to be written down or put into your to-do list and highlighted as the 2 things you must get done tomorrow. The final step is to schedule your focus time. And what I mean by this is every day you're going to have at least an hour that's going to be free, and you need to use that as your focus time. Work on the big thing that needs moving forward. And we all have them. We all have projects that either have stalled and you know the deadline is coming up. But where is that focus time? Isolate that hour. It could be first thing in the morning, it could be last thing in the day, whatever it is. But you need that 1 hour where you can focus on something, whatever it is, an essay, some revision time, some studying time, or it could be preparing a presentation, writing a report, whatever it is. 1 hour. Make sure you focus time on that particular activity. So those really are the 5 things you need to do in your golden 10 minutes. The first one is to process everything that you collected in the day, and that's the notes, the to-do lists, the to-dos that you collected, your events that you collected, and make sure they're in the right place. The second one is to review your calendar. Have a look at tomorrow, see whether you've got a busy day or a quiet day of meetings, lectures, seminars, whatever. Third one is to go through your active projects, which ones are the most urgent, and where can you work on those projects within the gaps that you have in your calendar. The fourth one is isolate or identify the 2 objectives that you really want to get done tomorrow. Whatever they are, get them onto your to-do list, get them highlighted, priority 1 level, star level, whatever you want to call it, but make sure there's 2 things that you want to get done for the day. And the final one is find 1 hour in your day, and again you're going to need your calendar for this, where you can sit down and focus on something that's really important, that's going to move you forward on a project or even in your life or whatever it is. It's just that 1 hour. And hey guys, we've got 24 of those hours every single day. Everyone can find 1 hour somewhere. Okay, that's it for today. That's the golden 10 minutes. I'm going to put a little link. In fact, I will put these 5 steps in the notes below so you can copy and paste them wherever you want to do, so that you've got a list of things. Now, you may have to follow this to start with, but eventually it will become a habit. I just want to say thank you very much for watching this episode. If you did like this episode, please click on the like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week.